let's talk about this savage song. There's no such thing as safe in a city at war, a city overrun with monsters. Kate Harker and August Flynn are heirs to a divided city, a city where violence breeds actual monsters. All Kate wants to be is as ruthless as her father, a man who lets monsters run free and makes humans pay for his protection. All August wants is to be human, as good-natured as his father, but he's one of the monsters. When the chance arises to look over Kate, who's just been kicked out of her 6th boarding school, August jumps on the opportunity. But Kate learns August's secrets, and after a failed assassination attempt, the two are on the run. That is a very basic synopsis of This Savage Song by Victoria Schwab. So I feel like for this novel I have to give a little bit more of an in-depth, detailed synopsis because the story is really complex and it's in a very foreign type setting. So in their particular city, violence breeds actual monsters. There are 3 different levels of monsters that correspond to 3 different types of violence. Non-lethal violence spawns the Horsai, which are these demon type monsters. They're non-corporeal. They kind of hide in the dark shadows. Murder breeds the Malkai, which are more of like a vampiric type monster. And then there are the very rare Sunai monsters, which are bred from mass tragedies. And our main character, August, is one of those very rare Sunai. So that's like the basis of the world. Like I said, it's very complex, and the world's actually what really intrigued me about this story. I was much more into the world and what happened to our current United States and how it was transformed into this dystopian more than the characters or the plot line or anything. The world definitely overshadowed everything else in this book for me. It's not necessarily a bad thing, but I found that I wasn't really intrigued by the characters as much as I was their setting. I really liked the dynamic between the 2 characters because one of the biggest selling points of this novel is that it's a YA book with no romance. It would have been very easy for Victoria Schwab to make these 2 characters romantic. They had a very strong animosity towards each other because one's a human, one's a monster. They're on opposite sides of the city at war, and so they have these prejudices towards each other. As they were on the run, views and such didn't change. It wasn't like because I was in a life or death situation, all of a sudden all the cards off the table and they were falling in love with the person they were on the run with, which is a very common theme in books, TV, movies. People are in life or death situations. They tend to just throw caution to the wind and develop an emotional attachment to the person they're with. Really liked that she kept the characters true to what they were before they were in that situation. They still didn't really trust each other. They still didn't like each other. And I really liked that and appreciated seeing that. And so for me, this was my very first Schwab book. And I have to say that while I enjoyed it and I really found it entertaining, I wasn't like blown away by it. I didn't find it to be as spectacularly amazing as a lot of people were saying that it was. Like, this was getting nothing but high positive praise. I just didn't connect with it as much as other people did. I didn't find the plot to be as gripping. It actually wasn't until about halfway through the book that I really felt the plot sink in. The first half of the book is really spent building the world, building the characters and their backstories, and establishing who they are, which is fine if you're getting into like a 6-book series, something that's really long where you need a lot of like in-depth character development. But this is a duology, so I didn't really feel like I needed that much world building. Like, I wanted to get the plot going a little bit quicker. This is a thing that I say about a lot of books. I want the plot to go a little bit quicker. It's just a personal preference thing. I don't need a lot of character development. I don't need a lot of backstory on my characters. But that first half of the book was really focused on the world building, which is why it was so easy for me to get into and I was invested in it rather quickly. It's because of the world building. So if it was just character development and character backstory in the beginning without this really interesting world, I don't think I would have been able to get into this book as easily as I was. Like I said, the biggest selling point for this book, I think, is definitely the world building. It's incredibly unique, and also another huge selling point for this book is that it has no romance plot line at all. But for me, I just didn't think the hype was there as much as a lot of other people did. I really enjoyed it. It was a really quick read, but I wouldn't say that it is anywhere near like an absolute favorite that you need to like go out and get right now and read today. I think it's more of the author that receives the hype than the actual book. So in the end, I end up giving this book a 3.5 out of 5 stars. If you've read this book, I'd love to know what you thought of it down below. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time, I'll talk to you very soon. Bye! Rock'em sock'em robots. Boom, 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 boom. Rock'em sock'em kitties.